Hi, fellow crafters. There are times when we are all stuck for inspiration. And so in this new series, I'm going to show you how to take a resource that you always have on hand to help you come up with card layouts and design ideas. This is my Case the Catty series. Today's card was inspired by the August to December mini catalog, which is retiring very soon. And I will be using the Peaceful Cabin bundle. Are you ready to get started? Hey everyone, I'm Terri from nutsAboutStamping.com. I love sharing techniques and project ideas for rubber stamping, paper crafting, and scrapbooking with you each week. Be sure to hit that red subscribe button and the bell beside it so that you'll be the first to be notified when my next video goes live. And be sure to watch all the way through my video for my bonus tips and design ideas. Now, let's case that catty. The Peaceful Cabin bundle has been one of my go-to faves for holiday crafting this year, and I'm so sad that it's retiring on the 3rd of January. When I looked for an idea in the mini catalog, I wasn't so taken with the sample provided. Let's have a look. Here's the mini catalog that's August to December. Here's the Peaceful Cabin stamp set and matching dies. It's on page 38 if you have this catalog at home. And here's the sample, and I just really wasn't very keen on it. But did you know that at the back of the mini, there are additional samples just waiting to be cased? Have a look at this sample for the Peaceful Cabin bundle. It's on page 68. So this is actually the index of the mini catalog. And what I think is really cool is Stampin' Up! Has shared additional samples for all of the bundles that came out with this catalog. So when I saw this bundle, I thought, ooh, that's kind of fun. Let's case it and see what we can do by adding our own special twist to it. Now, as you can see, it looks like Stampin' Up! Has used crumb cake, and then they have used 3 different colors of green for the trees dies. And then they have, it looks like a designer series paper that's sort of a pool party color. And that's how they've set it up with a phrase from the Peaceful Cabin stamp set. So I'm going to show you my little twist on this project idea. So I'm going to start off with a crumb cake card base, very similar to what Stampin' Up! Did. Now in the sample in the catalog, it looks like Stampin' Up! Did not layer the trees layer, but I do like a layer. I think it looks quite professional. So I've decided to have a layer of Evening Evergreen. This is one of the colors I'm going to be using for my trees. And to that, I'm going to add a layer of the Ever Eden Designer Series paper. This is a time-limited Designer Series paper pack. It does match beautifully with the Eden's Garden bundle, but the paper is retiring on the 3rd of January. So if you like this paper, I would suggest you check and see if it's still available at my online store and pick up a pack. It's beautiful paper and it matches that bundle so nicely. All right, so I'm going to have a layer like so. And then before I attach my layer on the card front, I decided to use a different phrase from the Peaceful Cabin stamp set. It says, "Your kindness makes the world a more beautiful place to be." So I'm going to ink it up using Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to stamp it across the bottom of the card base. Okay, there we go, that's ready. So I'm going to put these aside for a minute, and now I'm going to bring in the trees dies, and I'm going to do some stamping and die cutting. So very similar to what Stampin' Up! Did, they stamped green ink on green cardstock. So I am going to do the same look. So I'm casing that exactly, but I've decided I'm going to use Evening Evergreen, Garden Green, and Soft Succulent for my 3 greens. So that's a little bit of a twist on the sample in the catalog. So I'm going to bring in my Evening Evergreen stamp set again. I'm going to ink this up, stamp it down, and then I'm going to have to clean the die and then come back and stamp it again on garden green and on soft succulent. So I'll do that and I'll be back in a minute. There we go. I have my 3 different colors of cardstock stamped with their matching colors of ink. And now it's time to bring in the trees die from the Cabin Dies pack and die cut these out. So I will do 1, and then I'll stop the video and I'll go ahead and do the other 2. And that way you won't have to be sitting watching me die cut. And we can get on with the next step in making this card. Okay, let me show you this one and then what I'm going to do with it. So as you can see, when you die cut it out, you end up with this rim along the bottom, which I don't want. So I'm going to bring in my paper snips and I am just going to trim off the bottom of the trees. And so I'll end up with 2 that are joined together and 1 that is standalone, like so. Okay, so you can see them like that. Now what I'm going to do is stop the video and I'm going to die cut the Evening Evergreen and the Soft Succulent, and I'll come back and we'll move on to the next step in making this card. There we go. I have my trees all die cut and cut apart, these little individual ones, and now it's time to layer them onto this Designer Series paper layer so that it'll match the sample at the back of the catalog. So to do that, I am going to add some mini Stampin' Dimensionals just to give it the trees a little bit of a lift off of this card layer. I think it'll add some really nice visual interest. So start with my trees down here. So I'm going to go dark to light, very similar to the sample in the catalog. And then I'll put this single tree here, like so. And then I'm going to do the garden green next. And then I will do the soft succulent. And I'm going to tuck it under like so. Okay, and then this final one. And then I have 1 set of trees to add, and then we'll be ready to layer it onto the card base. And there we go. We've got the trees all nicely layered on this layer. And now we want to attach it to the card base. But here's another little twist I'm going to do. I really don't like that the card base is so plain. I like to have a little bit of, I don't know, visual interest. So I'm going to bring in the little snowflake stamp from the cabin, the Peaceful Cabin stamp set. And I have some crumb cake, and what I'm going to do is stamp off and then stamp on. Stamp off and on, stamp off and on, and so on. Just to add a little sort of nice final touch to the card. There you go. You can see that I've got these little snowflake images. I think that's so pretty. And now I am going to adhere my trees layer to my card base. We're almost done this project. There's one more thing though that we're going to have a look at. Okay, there we go. Taking shape nicely. Now let's go back to the sample in the catalog. And you can see, maybe from the picture, that there are a bunch of like little sparklies. They look like rhinestones or some kind of a jewel. So I went into my stash and found some of these beautiful sparkling rhinestones, and I'm going to add them just like they did to the trees. And it looks like they added a whole bunch of them. So I'm going to do the same. And that'll just add a really nice visual treat to my card front. And there we go. I have my beautiful sparkling touch added to my card that I cased from the August to December mini catalog. Now, if you would like to see another peaceful cabin idea, you might want to watch this video next. And if you would like a complete listing of the supplies that I used and the measurements for all of the layers, I'll link over to my blog article where I'll post a close-up photo of this card along with a complete listing of the supplies and measurements for all of the cardstock layers. If you would like to purchase the products I used to make this card, you better hop to it because they do retire. The Peaceful Cabin bundle retires on the 3rd of January. So I'll provide a link to my online store in the description box under this video. I'm Terry. I'm nuts about stamping. I'll see you at the next video. Bye for now.